In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the especially merciful. I'd like to welcome you to this video, this session, where I would like to talk about a brief and quick story that I had the first time I learned about Jesus. And as you know, I'm a Muslim, and I did not know anything, or at least that much, about Jesus. I know some things, but I didn't know that much about Jesus, and up until a certain incident happened to me. It was when I was 10 years old. So I'm going to explain the story. It's a brief story that occurred. When I was 10 years old, there was a debate on TV, on an Arabic station, with, or maybe not in Arabic, but it was a debate of something. It was on a weekend. It was about religion, and if I recall correctly, it was the Muslim and a Christian trying to prove why people should accept their religions. So when it came for the Christian's part, and he was talking about why people should accept Christianity, he would say things, and then he would say the word Jesus again and again. So when he said that, I was about 10 years old. When he said that, I said, "Curse be to Jesus." Astaghfirullah al-Azim. I said, "Curse is Jesus," or Jesus, may Jesus be cursed, or something like that. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. And my mom was there, and she said, "What are you saying? We believe in him." She said, "What are you saying? We believe in him." So I said, What do you mean we believe in him? We don't believe in him." She said, "Yes, we do." I said, "No, how could that be?" And I got nervous even, and I got scared, because the very foundation of Islam is to say that there is only one God. So if my mom's coming here now saying that we believe in Jesus, I concluded that she meant we believe he's the Son of God. And that made my heart drop, because it's considered a major sin. And that's the very opposite of the foundation of the religion of Islam. So I said, "No, we don't. How could you say that? We don't believe in him." She said, "Yes, we do, as a prophet." I said, "We believe in Jesus as a prophet?" She said, "Yes." I said, "The very same Jesus that they believe in?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Do we believe what they believe regarding him?" She said, "Yes, except that we say he's not the Son of God." So I said, "So they believe everything we believe except for that?" She said, "Yes." So I said, "That means we're the same. There is no difference. There is almost no difference between us then." She said, "Yes." I said, "But so this is the only thing, it's just that's the difference between us?" She said, "Yes." So I was shocked when I heard this. It was the first time. When I was younger, there was a church by our house, and I would see like an image of a man with long hair with his arms out, like on a cross position, and I concluded that was the God of the Christians and Jesus. I don't know how I knew about him, the name. I mean, I guess because I grew up there, I just automatically knew and learned it somehow. Nobody actually told me, but I guess just by living in this a land of Christians, I knew about Jesus. I knew that they believe he's a son of God. But I didn't know that we believe in him until I was 10 years old. I had no idea, because I never read the Quran up until I was maybe 18 or 17 years old. I read it in English. I couldn't read it in Arabic. The only copy we had was in Arabic, and I couldn't read it. I always wanted to, but I couldn't. I don't know how to read. So when she told me that, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that we believe in the same Jesus that they believe. So I asked her, is he like, do they believe in him the same way? Like, what do they say about him? Don't they say that he was born without a father and that his mother was Mary? She said, yes. I said, but we don't believe in that. She said, yeah, we do. I said, we believe in that too? She said, yeah. So I said, so even according to us, his mother's name is Mary? She said, yes, but in Arabic it's Miriam. I said, so it's the same then. There's nothing really different. I said, so what's the difference then? Why is there like an issue between Muslims and Christians? I mean, it's almost the same. Well, what's the problem? She said, it's just that they say that he's the son of God, and we say no. So I said, so why don't they just say what we say? Why do they have to say he's the son? What's the proof? She said, people changed the text after that point. The people changed the text and they added things. At the time, I didn't know much about the crucifixion, so I didn't ask her about that, because I didn't really fully understand what is it. So, and I didn't really fully know that he was going to return. I didn't know that. According to Islam, Islamically, we believe he's going to come back to earth as well, just like the Christians. But at the time, I didn't know that. So all I asked her was, do we believe what they say about him, that he was born without a father and through Mary, that that he did miracles and stuff like that? And she said, yeah, we do. So I said, but in Islam we don't call him Jesus. I never heard of that. There's no Jesus in Islam, the name Jesus. She said, yeah, that's an English name. I said, so what's his name in Arabic then? She said, Isa. I said, but Isa and Jesus, the term is completely different. How can it be? I mean, they're not similar at all. She said, yeah, well, that's an English term. Now, when I got older, far years later, I learned that the term Jesus is not an English term. So what she said regarding that, that's wrong. The term Jesus is a Greek term. The name Jesus is Greek. The Christians don't even know the original name of Jesus, his Aramaic name. I dare the Christians, the majority of them, to write in the comments, what's Jesus' real name? Jesus is a Greek name. What's his real Aramaic name? In Arabic, it's Isa. In Aramaic, it's Isu, or similar to that. Very much similar to the Arabic version. Jesus is completely different. Aramaic, Hebrew, and Arabic are all Semitic languages, so the terms and the terms of names are very similar. Of course, my mom didn't know that because she doesn't have experience in debate, but she answered based on her knowledge, and she said it's an English term. And that could be considered true. It is an English word. I mean, originally it's not, but it's used in the English, and it has been adapted by English speakers as his name. So she was somewhat correct. So when she told me that, I was shocked. Really, I was really stunned. I didn't know that we believe in Jesus in Islam, that we believe he's a prophet. I had no idea. So when she told me that, I was really shocked. And I was really shocked to the point I wanted to read about his story. I wanted to see it for myself, because I had doubts. Like, is it really we believe the way they believe, the same? Is it similar or just the same, or what is it exactly? I want to see for myself. And I couldn't read it in Arabic, and I didn't have any copy of it in English. So I told her, well, what's the verse that it exists? Where in the Quran is this? She said, there's a surah, a chapter called Mary. So I said, I can't believe it. I'm shocked. There's a chapter called Mary? How can it be? I'm stunned at that point. I'm thinking, like, that means there's really not much difference between Islam and Christians. It's just a few, obviously the major difference, the belief that they believe that he's the son is a major difference, but it's not many differences. Yes, that's a fundamental difference, huge difference, but overall the other points are the same, pretty much the same, not exactly, but very similar. And then of course the crucifixion, we don't believe Jesus was crucified. We believe somebody else who looked like Jesus was crucified, and according to Christian sources, it would have been most likely somebody called Judas. The guy who tried to snitch Jesus out was the guy who got crucified, according to Islam, as a punishment for what he did. And God rose up Jesus, Isa, peace be upon him, to heaven to save him, and he will return to earth in the end of time. And I remember, if I recall correctly, my mom said he will come back to earth. And I said, why would he come back? She said he didn't complete his mission. Now that point is wrong. The reason he's coming back is not just because he didn't complete his mission, because there are other prophets who did not complete their mission. So that's not really the reason. The reason he's coming back primarily is he's a sign of the day of judgment first. Secondly, is to show and to prove to Christians that he was not the Son of God, and he will come to admit that. So the case has to be closed before the end of time, and that's the main reason he will return, as well as him being a sign of the day of judgment. Not because he didn't complete his mission, because there are other prophets who didn't complete their mission. He's not the only one. There was prophets who were killed by their people, and their mission was cut short. So the point of the story and the moral is, Muslims believe in Jesus, and I was shocked to find out when I was 10 years old. I was shocked. I was like stunned, unbelievably stunned. I couldn't believe it. And at the time, if I knew how to read, I really probably would have read about the story, but I had no idea how to read, and I dropped it after that point. I didn't ask a lot of questions, because my mom really, she didn't have answers, and as you could see, some things she said was wrong. So it wasn't really going to be of benefit for me to ask her, because she's not knowledgeable in these things. She was very busy with work and taking care of the family. She didn't have time for me to keep asking questions. I could have asked my dad. He probably would have knew more, but I was shy to ask, and it wasn't easy for me to approach my dad. Mom was easier to approach. Anyway, the moral is, Islamically, we believe in Jesus pretty much the same as the Christian way or beliefs, except that we don't believe he's the Son of God, and we don't believe he was crucified. Now, if the Christians were to say, well, he is the Son of God, and he was crucified, my reply to that is, prove it. Show me undeniable proof to back the claim that Jesus is the Son of God, as you say, and that he was crucified. If you were to say, I'm going to use the Bible as evidence, first of all, the Bible was recorded 100 years after Jesus left, at least 100 years, and that's not according to Islam, that's according to Christian sources, Christian historians, and Christian scholars, not Muslims. This is not my sources. This is not our sources. This is your sources. That's the first point. Second point, it was not even recorded in Jesus' mother tongue. It was recorded in Greek. It was recorded in Greek. Show me the original text. The third point, Jesus himself never said clearly, I am the Son of God. He never said it. So the very foundation has been shaken just by the fact that Jesus himself never said, I am the Son of God. In addition to that, and even more damning evidence, he never once mentioned the concept of the Trinity. Not once. Not once, for goodness sakes. Not once. The one who mentioned these things was a guy named Paul. if you look through the Bible, the vast majority of the Bible is Paul talking. Paul. Where's Jesus to explain the sources and explain the teaching? Where is Jesus, the guy who came with the message? Where is his words? We barely see him speak throughout the Bible. And Christians, when I brought the point about Jesus not saying, I am the Son of God, they say, well, he didn't say it exactly like that, but he referred to himself as the Son. And he referred to God as the Father. Well, according to the Bible, that's true. I don't deny it. True. If I was to say that's not true, I'd be lying. I'd be a liar. I can't say that because it's true. According to the Bible, Jesus referred to himself as the Son of the Father, the Son of the unseen Father. He said it. And he referred to the Father in heaven, or my Father in heaven. He said that is true. But he also said, you are all the Son of God. And he also said, I'm going back to my Father and your Father. So that proves that he didn't mean it literally. First. Secondly, that's if he said it, and I highly doubt that he said it, because that will cause confusion. More likely he didn't say Son. In reality, he never referred to himself as the Son. He referred to himself as something else, but the person who rewrote the Bible, aka Paul and others, they changed it to say Son. But even if we were to say, yeah, he actually did say it and it's proven, even then we would say he didn't mean it literally, because he said you are all the Son of God. He said I'm going back to my Father and your Father. So it's not exclusive to him. That's the second point. The third point is there's at least a dozen prophets in the Old Testament referred to as the Son. Israel, or Jacob, was said, according to the Torah, the Old Testament, this is Israel, my first son. So the term son is not unique to Jesus. Secondly, we highly doubt that any prophet or anyone ever, or no, let's say any prophet or God himself ever to refer to anyone as that term. He never actually said it, most likely, but even if we were to say he did, it wasn't literal, and I proved it. Why? Because Jesus said, you are all the Son of God. He also said, my Father and your Father, implying that it's not literal. Third point, the Old Testament saying, this is Israel, my son, showing that it's not literal. Or is Jacob also a son of God? Is he also a son? Are we to take him to worship him? The fourth point, and the most damning point to me, is the fact that Abraham never worshipped Jesus. Abraham never worshipped Jesus ever. He never said God has a son. He never said worship God through Jesus. He never mentioned or even hinted at the Trinity. He specifically said God is one, has no partners. He never said he has a son. He never hinted at it. He never said a son will come, ever. If it was true, wouldn't Abraham be the first one to worship him, or to tell us that you need to go through him to gain salvation, or to hint that God has a son? Even hint. He didn't even hint at it, or hint at the Trinity. He never did. Therefore, what's the evidence that God has a son? I demand an answer. And I conclude with, may the peace and blessings be on the Prophet Muhammad and on all those who follow him until the last day.